Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2, and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now, we are going to get right back into For Men Only. We are in chapter number 6, which the side section is entitled Sex. The title is With Sex, Her No Doesn't Mean You. Now, this is take number 4. So, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into take 4. It goes like this. Give chase, Agent 007. The time for pursuit is always. I love this comment that came into Chpt's website. A woman needs to feel sexy to her man. But many men do not spend the time or effort in affirming their spouse sexually outside of the bedroom. That means when we're in the bedroom, it's difficult for women to figure out whether he really wants her or whether he's just trying to satisfy his own need. A woman who knows she is sexy to her husband outside the bedroom will never have an excuse at lovemaking time. Another married woman told us, women want to be romantically pursued. It's as powerful as the man's sex drive. Men think women can't resist James Bond because of his body, his money, or his fast cars. But that stuff is almost irrelevant. James Bond is romantic. He pursues a woman, flirts with her, woos her. I think women are a lot more aware of the need to work hard at meeting their man's sex drive needs than men are aware of the need to work at meeting her romantic pursuit needs. Guys have to realize that for a woman, they go hand in hand. Women want to be romantically pursued. It's as powerful as the man's sex drive. Whether it calls, notes, conversations, or simply admiring eye contact. The whole point of pursuit to a woman is that you notice her. You're interested in her, and you belong to her, and she belongs to you. Remember chapter 2? There will never be a day when she permanently feels loved. She needs to feel day to day that you are choosing her all over again. Number 3, warm her up. Us guys need no transition time and can have sex on our minds with a moment's notice. But since women can't, we need to think about ways to get her anticipation engine running several hours in advance. One woman showed how simple that can be. One thing that will help get a wife in the mood is something as small as a flirting call or an email. Something like, I saw you getting dressed this morning, and I can't stop thinking about you. I can't wait to see you undress tonight. That's an easy chip shot if I ever saw one. That's an easy chip shot, if I ever saw one. Another woman proposed something that other women agreed might be helpful for some, as unspontaneous as it sounds to men. Hear this one. With kids and jobs, for me, sex seemed to be planned and expected, or it just won't happen. He thinks having set days to expect it means that it is just another thing to check off my to-do list. But actually, when I have it in mind to expect it, then it is really a reward at the end of a long day. If I don't know to expect it, then that is when it becomes a chore and just another thing that needs to get done. The planning means I am making him a priority, not putting him on a list. Number 4, sometimes hug her just to hug her. One main reason to create day-to-day closeness, even if no sex is on the agenda that night, is that women can spot the signs that sex is on the agenda and assume that your sweet gestures are not sweet at all, but are just sex motivated. At its worst, we look like we only care about our wife when we want sex. Now, us guys know that's not true. But unfortunately, it is true that in the busyness of life, we sometimes simply forget about doing the loving little things just because we love our wives. So the thought of sex becomes a sort of trigger to remember to be a bit more attentive. What that means is that we have actually trained our wives to be cynical and suspect total self-interest on our part whenever they see those attentive gestures. So there's a need for a little reconditioning. We need to hug our wife, send her a sweet email during the day, rub her back, help her out around the house, cuddle with her in bed, and not ask for sex, at least sometimes. Number 5, help her around the house. It helps you. On the survey, about 60% of women interviewed said that simply helpfulness around the house would increase the likelihood that they would want to make love more frequently. If only because they would have more energy, as you expect. The margin was significantly higher, up to 70%, among women who worked outside the home or had school-age kids. As one stay-at-home mom said, "My husband and I have a little joke between us. I say, 'Honey, there is nothing more sexy than watching you clean something.' And there's really nothing more sexy than watching you clean the toilet. It's all about feeling that he wants to take care of me." This is not just an adultal option either. A recent study by famed marriage psychologist John Gottman found that men who do housework have both happier marriages and better sex lives. Picking up the broom or doing dishes after a hard day on the job isn't exactly, well, what you were thinking when you were thinking you couldn't wait to get home. But as Gotham found, this kind of sacrificial support can often be more impressive than a dozen roses. Number 6, don't take "not tonight" personally. Use it as a learning tool. As we've seen, it's almost every instant she doesn't mean it personally. It is not the rejection that you think it is. And it says literally nothing about her desire for you. Yes, it feels like rejection. And it feels personal. But if we can think clearly, on this one, we can actually bring more fulfillment to both parties. Next time, try this. Use her "not tonight, dear" as a learning tool to understand why she's saying no. I'll bet your eyes will open to new ways to love and support your wife that perhaps you haven't noticed before. You can get off the merry-go-round of feeling helplessly deprived and actually do something about it. You can get off the merry-go-round of feeling helplessly deprived and actually do something about it. Number 7, clean up your act. Several women, upon finding out that we were writing this chapter, asked Chpt privately, "You will tell them to brush their teeth, won't you?" Quite a few women told us that the most basic hygiene will make the difference between wanting to be intimate or not. Back when we were dating, let me start that sentence all over again. Back when we were dating, we never would have forgotten to brush our teeth or take a shower before a date. So why do that to your wife now? As one woman put it, "I want him just to brush his teeth regularly. And I like him to shave his face, whiskers before we do the wild thing." Number 8, when in doubt, ask her. Just like the experience of the whole chapter, this particularly to do runs against the grain of my middle-class Midwestern don't talk about sex reticence. While it may not be comfortable, you just need to ask your wife what she likes, what she doesn't, and how to improve. And make sure she knows that you want to know whether she's not only enjoying the race, but also crossing the finish line. Realize also that if you two aren't clicking in this area, it's possible other things could be going on. I'm not an expert, and I don't even play one on TV. But if your wife seems to love you but avoids sex or finds it emotionally painful, make sure there aren't deep-seated issues that need addressing. And if there are, be her advocate in getting the help she needs to address them. And I know us guys pretend it's never an issue, but if by chance you're the one experiencing performance problems, be brave and seek help from your doctor or counselor. One woman, wrote about this. "His unwillingness to seek medical help is breaking my heart." You have a lot of life ahead, and your wife wants to enjoy it with you. One wife put it well: "I appreciate feeling like we are team players, not just in the bedroom, but in everything. After a long day, I want to feel supported and uplifted just as he does. And of course, theoretically, a good roll in the hay will do that." But there are times at the end of the day when I feel as if I can't quite get started. I want him to be sensitive to me and minister to me. He is who I am counting on for this. And I know if I can, he'll be able to count on me too. That does complete chapter 6. Stay tuned for chapter 7 For Men Only. The Girl in the Mirror. Why the little girl inside your woman is dying to hear you, and how to guard your answer well. So, until our next take on chapter 7, I want you and your family to be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of this evening until I speak with you again. So, be well, take care, and until next time, later, y'all.